Hey guys, it's Joshua with Think Liberty, and today we are joined by Austin Petersen. Austin is a producer, writer, political activist, a prior Libertarian presidential candidate through the 2016 primaries, and recently announced he's running for the U.S. Senate in 2018 as a Republican. How you doing today, Austin?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Thanks for being here. So why don't you start off by telling me a little bit about what brought you to politics and how you got to where you are today?
Ron Paul. 2007, I started volunteering for the congressman's presidential campaign. Got me interested in the intellectual foundations of a philosophy that I had been aware of, something that had always been a part of my life from, I think, a gut level, right? I think I'd always been a libertarian from a perspective, but I didn't quite know, I didn't have the intellectual underpinnings, right? Hadn't read the books. I hadn't started to study. Ron Paul got me into that, got me activated, started volunteering for him. And after that, well, I guess you could say it was all downhill from there.
Nice. Totally understandable. So you recently announced that you were running for U.S. Senate as a Republican. I believe it was 4th of July, correct? Was when you announced that?
That's right.
Sweet. So what made you decide to run for U.S. Senate? Why was that the seat that you were looking for?
I saw an opportunity. Claire McCaskill is a very vulnerable Democrat. Missouri is my home state. It's a winnable race. The primary is really the big challenge. So I spent a couple months calling my supporters on the phone. I think I made about 4,000 phone calls and asked them if I should run. And they said 100% of them said, yeah, do it, run. And 98% of them said run as a Republican. And they pretty much all of them contributed as well. Not just libertarians, but a lot of Republicans and even some progressive Democrats were donating to that exploratory committee. So that's why I decided to do it.
Right. Yeah. And talking a little bit about the libertarian side of things, you spent a lot of your time and career with the Libertarian Party. And it does seem that several people are still following you. Was that a hard decision for you to make to switch over to the R after spending so much time with the libertarians?
Of course. A lot of my friends are members of the Libertarian Party. Many of them are officials, members of the National Committee. I've been a libertarian for about 9 years, I think. Did a lot of work to build the party because I thought that, that maybe there would be a serious opportunity like there was last year. But, I think that unfortunately there just doesn't seem to be the kind of opportunity. The libertarian movement in many ways, and this is not what I want to be true, but it's what I believe to be true, we're in a bit of a downswing. And I think in order for us to regain our momentum, we're going to have to regroup and we're going to have to come back at it in some different ways. I know a lot of people were really happy with the results that we got last year, but I wasn't. I'm sick of these sort of celebrations over the minor victories. I want some big wins. I'm ready for us to get out in the field and start fighting the big fights. And I understand it's a game of inches. Totally understand that. But historically, third parties, when they have victories, they have victories, bigger victories, in a shorter amount of time. If you think about how the Republican Party took power, they took a hold of the national issues, the biggest issues of the day, and they solved those problems. The Republican Party was an anti-slavery party that was formed to solve the biggest problem of the day, slavery. And the Libertarian Party is trying to sell a whole host of ideas, right? A slew of ideas. And that's just too difficult to get a broad consensus on. See, if I had become the presidential candidate, I would have gone for the issues which I believe we could have gotten a broad consensus on. My whole plan was to make the Libertarian Party into the party of small business and to build a broad coalition of small business owners who felt like they were getting a raw deal from the government. I think that would have been a winning message. I think that could have been the big message right now, because it's small business owners, especially being one myself, who are getting screwed, especially due to Obamacare. So 1, 2, maybe 3 issues would have been the big thing. But I just think that the herding cats is a little too difficult for me. So I'm going to have to go herd some elephants.
Well, so being a prior libertarian, I mean, is your message and your principles going to change at all running as a Republican?
Why would it? I mean, I get that question so much. A Democrat asked me last week. He goes, so what principles have you dropped now that you're running as a Republican? I don't get it. I mean, I guess there are a lot of politicians who do change their principles when they go run another party. But I mean, I guess the people who criticize, me on principle kind of stuff unless they have like really concise like analysis of what they're criticizing me for and principle things, and we can respectfully disagree on some of those things, maybe because I'm not an anarchist or whatever you want to say. It's like, oh, Austin, it's the NAP or nothing. But I just don't get why I would do that. I mean, just to win, right? I mean, like, you can fight to win in another party without having to change your principles. I think libertarians don't understand marketing sometimes. That's a big problem in our community. Because, again, I think I saw you interviewed James Weeks, right? The naked dancing guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite the best way to sell libertarian ideas, but that's a guy who doesn't give a damn about that. You know what I mean? That's somebody who's in it for themselves, and that just sort of gives into the idea that we're selfish, right? Well, there are a lot of selfish libertarians, so that's a problem. I'm trying to do something for the good of my country. I'm kind of going against the whole Randy and Ayn Rand view here. I'm trying to do something good for the citizens of my state. I think liberty would be good for America. I think liberty would be good for the citizens of Missouri. I think liberty would be good for all of us. So I'm going to do that because I'm trying to fight for our people. I'm trying to fight for the liberty movement. A lot of people claim to do that, but their actions would make me think otherwise.
Right. So, after spending all that time with your Libertarian Party, if you're elected as an R, do you worry that your principle may not mesh as well with the party, or that you may end up at odds with some of the other Republicans in the GOP?
Who gives a damn? I'm fighting for what I believe in. I don't give a damn about trying to mesh with some principles. I'm so sick of people trying to tell me, oh, Austin, how are you going to get along with those people? Well, I'm running to be myself. I'm running as myself. I didn't care what the libertarians said when they said, Austin, you're pro-choice. You just hate women and you hate women's rights. You think I gave a damn? No, I ran for president because I thought I was the right man for the job. I'm running for the Senate seat because I think I'm the right man for the job. I think that I can help bring these ideas forward. I'm just so sick of the whole, how are you going to get along with other people who don't share your views? Well, who shares my views 100% of the time? Me. That's it.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the core principles of your campaign platform for people who may not know you. What's the center of your campaign platform?
Well, I've tailored my platform to conform to the big issues that my constituents care about, which I think are the very big, most important issues. And I've narrowed it down to 5 issues. The first one, jobs. Second one is taxes. Third is spending. Fourth is criminal justice reform, and the 5th is foreign policy, which is a big one right now, especially because of North Korea. It's amazing how that stuff will turn on a dime. Jobs is the biggest thing. People care about jobs. They don't really care about trans in the military or all these kinds of stuff. That's not what the average American cares about. That's the kind of stuff that we argue on Facebook about. The number one thing that people care about are jobs. They want to know how are jobs going to get brought to their state, to their communities, how are jobs going to get brought back from overseas. And that leads into the second point, taxes, spending, right? So if we had a regulatory environment that was more friendly to businesses, right? If we were to cut some of the regulations that we have, then we would be able to bring jobs back. I think people understand that. Unfortunately, many of the populists, as or the alt-right, right, as the right wing, you guys are libertarians, so you'll understand what I'm saying here. I won't have to dumb it down for y'all. But the paleo-conservative movement is ascendant, right? The Pat Buchanan wing of the movement. And they are riddled with economic fallacies. Many of them are economically illiterate. So they're going to blame the foreigners, right? The immigrants. They trick your gerbs, right? They don't understand how free markets work. They don't understand how free trade works. They don't understand that the reason why the jobs are going overseas is not because of some migrant coming in and picking your lettuce or your tomatoes, because Americans don't want those jobs. Right. They don't understand that. They're being used by the politicians. The politicians are playing on their fears. That's the thing. I think if I lose, it's because I wasn't willing to sell people a bill of goods on terror and fear and war and the fear of the other and foreigners and what they're doing, how China's screwing us on trade. It's like, there's just so many misunderstandings about the root causes for why we do not have why we are losing jobs in the United States. But you know what? Truth is that we're gaining jobs. A lot of people want to put that on Trump, but the president is just one man, and he doesn't have the power that a lot of people think he does, especially when it comes to the economy. The government can do a lot to get in the way of job creation, but they can't do a lot to create jobs. You guys know. Here, the truth is, every libertarian knows the real evil demon, the real heart of the beast, is spending. It's government spending. If the government's not spending money, then government is not growing. If government is spending money, government is growing. So I don't want to just cut the head off of the hydra. I want to slice off the head and take the torch and burn it at the stump, right? Like I'm trying to make government small enough to drown it in a bathtub. I'm talking about murdering Leviathan. I'm talking about destruction of the federal agencies and them never returning, like sowing salt in the ground of the Federal Reserve, or just turning it into a really nice car park, or maybe even a gun range.
Nice.
At my heart at philosophy, as a minarchist, I think there are very limited constitutional roles the government should play. Cops, courts, nukes. That's about it.
Nice. So, does it bother you? Oh, sorry. Actually, I was going to ask you what are your plans to beat out the other GOP contenders that will probably be running against you there?
Differentiate myself, because here's the thing: everybody else who's going to be a Republican in this race, they're all going to agree with each other. So I want a nice, big, wide open field with as many Republicans running as possible, so that they can all fight to say the exact same damn thing, and have me out there saying one of these kids is doing their own thing, and then you get that attention, you get those headlines, and I'm a fan of asymmetric warfare. Last week one of my contenders, who's like the golden boy, the Mitch McConnell pick, looks like he's going to get in this race. And they must not have done any research on me before. They must have thought, oh, this guy's, don't worry about this Austin Petersen guy. Because when he signaled last week that he was going to jump into the race with an exploratory committee, he didn't realize I already bought up all of his websites and redirected them back to my domain. So I am not one to be trifled with, as Governor Gary Johnson can attest after those debates last year. I'm a tough boy. I fight. I punch. I will do everything I can to fight for these principles, because, God damn it, we need a champion. We don't have very many champions of liberty. Maybe Larry Sharp or Rand Paul and a few other people who are out there actually punching and fighting for our liberties, but. I'm a brawler, and I'll do everything I can to win this race, because I think that the principles of liberty must prevail. And our founding fathers, when they got a 3% tax on tea, they didn't back down. They shot the bastards. So, we need a little revolutionary spirit. We need to man up, as they say. It's time to start fighting. So I will win this Republican primary, because I will be tougher, and I will be different, and I will offer something very unique to the people of Missouri.
Nice. Yeah. If there's a Republican that's got to do it, we hope it's you, definitely. Is there any emotion, or does it bother you at all to know that you'll be running against a prior libertarian in the race, in Alicia Dern?
Breaking news. It looks like Alicia Dern's not going to run. Unfortunately, she's ill. I hope that she has a speedy recovery, but I believe that Alicia has declined to run as of this week.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't do.
But there will be another libertarian. There will be another libertarian. And how much fun would it be to have two libertarians on stage fighting doing a pincer attack versus the Democratic Socialists? Now tell me that the entire nation would not tune in with, Michael Jackson eating popcorn.gif watching that debate to see the Libertarian, the Republican, and the Democrat, and the Democrats in the middle, and we're just like hammering. That'd be so much more fun than just the normal stuff that we see, where it's two authoritarians versus the libertarian who's like, "Hi guys, I don't know, don't violate my nap." It's like, no. Like, here's an opportunity for us to bring real change. Missouri is the battleground for liberty, at least in my opinion. There's some other liberty Republicans that are running across the country, and I hope that they do well. People like Eric Brakey in Maine, and a few others, I believe. Glenn Jacobs, I think Kane is running for mayor.
Right. Yeah.
He's a libertarian Republican. That's exciting. That's very exciting. So I wish them all well, and I think that Missouri is where, of course, my home and where my heart is, and I think this will be a really exciting race. And I wish the Libertarian candidate best of luck, but at the end of the day, I hope that the Libertarians will come out and vote for me in the Republican primary, because there's no reason to. There is no Libertarian primary. Right. So I would say all the Libertarians should vote in the Republican primary for me, because how much more fun would it be to have two Libertarians versus the Democrat?
It would definitely be an interesting debate, no joke.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably one of the most effective people to ever come from the LP when it comes to outreach, expanding your base, and fundraising. Do you have any words of advice for those who aspire to be involved in politics?
Well, it depends. If they're, I mean, that's a general question, right? You talk about fundraising. So like all my political fundraising has come from my campaigns. So if you're involved in campaigns, if you're running a campaign, there's a different set of advice that I would give to people who are going to do things like try and get a job at a think tank or, volunteer for another campaign, right? So are you, I could talk for hours on this subject. Obviously, I have a lot of experience. So, are you asking me about to give advice to people who want to run for office?
Yeah, who want to campaign, and run for office.
If your love of liberty is as deep and profound as you claim it is, when you say you will run for office, then you will do exactly what I say, and that is you will lock yourself away in a room for 8 hours a day, and you will sit and you will make phone calls. You will make thousands of phone calls. You will cry at night because your days will be full of pain. Nothing but pain and suffering and sitting down on the phone and making thousands and thousands and thousands of phone calls. Well, you may watch my social media accounts and think Austin looks like he's having the time of his life and having a blast. But every minute that you don't hear from me, every hour that goes by that you aren't seeing a tweet or some fun post from me at an event, I am making calls. You must make calls. If you do not make calls, then I will sit in judgment of you and your libertarian campaign and say that you do not care about the cause as much as you say you do. Because if you really, truly care, and if you say that running for office is the way that I'm going to advance liberty, you must make calls. Because if you do not, you will not be successful. And the last thing people need is another quixotic campaign to spend their time and their hope and their energy. Listen, I'm running as a Republican because when my people, 98% of them, out of 4,000 phone calls, 98% said run as a Republican, it's their money. It's their dreams, their hopes. Somebody gave me $1,000 today. And you think that I'm not going to go out there and bust my ass? I feel the weight of responsibility on my shoulders. I'm not going to go out there and waste that person's time or money by doing anything less than one of the most serious, credible campaign that I can. Every time I think about doing something screwy or acting like an idiot or something like that, which in my past perhaps I want to do, I think about the people who trust me and who are giving me their time and who volunteer. This young woman and her mother came out yesterday to walk the state fair, sweating, tired. Hours and hours of them, busting their butt for me. And I busting my butt for them. So just if you care about the people that you say you care about, if you care about the cause that you care about, you will raise money. Because when you raise money, you can use it to do incredible things. Every time I raise $1,000 or another $2,000, I can go out, find an amazing libertarian with skills and give them a job. And they can go out and spread liberty. And then the campaign's being temporary. Just remember, right now, I am raising up another generation of libertarian leaders. And they're going to go out and they're going to be leaders because they're going to have experience on the Austin Petersen campaign. Oh, you worked on the Austin Petersen campaign. Now they're going to have jobs. And when I'm gone, when I'm gone off of this mortal plane, when my time is done, there will be a generation of activists who will say, it was Austin Petersen, not Ron Paul, but it was Austin Petersen that got me in. And that's what I want. That's what'll make me proud. And that's what I'm doing. Is somebody called me the other day and said, Austin, I'm running for office because you inspired me. I'm like, you know what? I may not have won the presidential nomination, but I won that battle. And that's what you got to do. You got to go out and raise money, and you got to hire other libertarians, and you got to spread the message that way if you're running for office. Now, that's when you're running for office. There's lots of other ways to spread liberty other than running for office. I don't recommend it. Unless you want your life destroyed on a daily basis on, some stupid blog, some stupid libertyblog.com says, you once dated my ex-girlfriend and now I hate you and you're not a good libertarian.
Well, and I appreciate that advice. I just announced the campaign for Washington State Representative here in Washington. So
congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Are you going to spend all day making calls?
I am. I got a year and 2 months, year and 3 months. So I'm going to spend as much time as I possibly can doing everything I can to promote those ideals.
So you have a Facebook page, right?
Yes, sir.
How many fans do you have?
I just got 300 and I started, you're talking about Think Liberty or my Think Liberty? I think we're about 4,200 at this point.
4,200. So
yeah.
what I suggest you do is you put a post up and you say, send me your phone number and your email address so I can give you a call about my campaign. Then you take their phone number and their email address and you call all those people, and then you ask them for 3 other people. And then those 3 other people, you ask for 3 other people, and you keep building and you build and you build and you build, and you ask every single person for $200 at least. And then, somebody's like, oh yeah, well, I own an oil company. Then you're like, give me $2,000 then.
Exactly. Right.
And,
I think I could take. I think as state rep, you could take $1,000 as the max here in Washington for me,
oh,
any
okay, good
individual. But yeah, so
best of luck to you.
thank you, and you as well. We definitely look forward to your debates and your campaign and everything that encompasses you. That's all I have for you today. Do you have any events or websites you would like to tell people about or send them to?
Yep, just austinforsenate.com. Glenn Beck told me I have to say it 3 times. So the second time is austinforsenate.com. If you're feeling cheeky, you can type in fireclaire.net. Otherwise, just go to austinforsenate.com.
That's 3.
Yeah, there it is.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you, Austin. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at Think Liberty TV. Like us on Facebook at thinkliberty.tl. Check out the website at think-liberty.com. And also shout out to our sponsor, anarchothreads.com, because if you love liberty so much, you should probably wear it. Thanks again, Austin. And we look forward to seeing your campaign.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.